Hi, I'm Gary and I'm the mentor for our Heritage Project. Now, our Heritage Project came about from being in this building, Kidz R Us. It's a former chapel, and whilst we were renovating the building, we came across an old book. This is that book. Now, this book actually archives 75 years of this chapel from the day it was built through to 1952. So it actually goes as far back as 1877. It was a really interesting read. It told you a lot of information about key members of the chapel over the years, how much it cost to build the chapel, who the parishioners were. So when I was telling the children in the drama class about this, they suggested that we continue the book from then up until present day. Now, from 1952 to 2004, the chapel was actually still a working everyday chapel, and from 2004 onwards, Kidz R Us took over the building. So I applied to the Heritage Lottery Fund, the Young Roots programme, and asked them if they would support the project for us to be able to research all the information that we possibly could from 1952 onwards and create a second chapter to the book, and then also to then do a third chapter which runs from 2004 through to present day, which is the time that Kidz R Us have been in the building. We were really pleased that the Heritage Lottery, under their Young Roots programme, actually funded us for this project.
We decided to arrange a meeting with everyone who would be involved with the project to decide how best to get started. Gary, the project leader, told us about how we'd come by the original book and how we'd been given funding to bring it up to date.
Alright, it starts off with a little bit of background about Georgetown, the area. There was 140 dwellings, so 140 houses. In the extension of this book, alright, what though?
Should be from 1952 the number of houses that are in the Georgetown area and the population, because that featured right at the beginning, which then went on to the number of the congregation, and then could follow into the Kidz R Us side of it there.
And how that's differed right through
right the way through, and then the Kidz R Us numbers, and what we started with, what we've got today, and how that's changed. The Sunday school, what carried on from 1952 with the Sunday school and the numbers of the Sunday school. There's a list of ministers up until 1952, so we thought we should continue that onwards from 1952 until we stopped it finished. And the building costs, like with repairs, renovations, to carry on that list that started in the pre-1952 book.
During this meeting, we realised that one of the chapel's former parishioners lived next door to one of our members. We decided to pay her a visit.
Just down there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of further a bit down.
Okay, well we'll walk down.
We're going to go to Rosemary's house to show her that we found her book, and then we're doing a project about Park Place View. This is really exciting because she don't even know that we're coming.
Yes, but I'm very sorry.
No, it's no problem. But I've seen you lots of times.
Mrs. Colwell seemed very keen to help, and a meeting with her and some other former parishioners was arranged for a later date.
In the meantime, we decided to interview some of the key personnel and the members of Kidz R Us to see what they can tell us about the building's more recent history.
So the third chapter of the book, we are interviewing key personnel since Kidz R Us has been in this building.
We are interviewing Gary Dan, who has been the chairman for 8 years. What memories do you have of Kidz R Us?
I have many memories of Kidz R Us since the day that it started. Kidz R Us started over 11 years ago now, but we've actually been in this building for 8 years. This room, in fact, wasn't an original part of the building when we took over. So we're actually in an extended version of Kidz R Us at this moment. Originally, when we first took over, we came to see the Reverend at the time. It was a deacon called John Jenkins, and we needed somewhere to have as a home for Kidz R Us, simply because we had so many costumes and we had so many numbers attending that we needed somewhere to go, somewhere to call our own home. And John Jenkins, the deacon, wanted it to go to a community. So Diane and we actually came here and had a meeting with John, and he took us around. And the Presbytery had put the building, the original building, on the market for £50,000. So our first memory was that, oh my goodness, could we really do this with a community group? Could we get a mortgage and buy this building for community use? And at £50,000, it was an absolute steal.
Were there any notable events that took place during the time at the chapel?
Only through Kidz R Us. When I started with Kidz R Us, there's been millions of notable events. So many, I can't possibly tell you all of them, but it's all to do with you children and what we've created here. I could carry on listing hundreds, all the events we've taken place in, all the things we've done in the community, all the trips we've gone on, from Edinburgh to dancing in the West End to everything we've done that I'm so proud of. It's fab. And all the refurb of the building. Is that what you want to know about?
Yeah.
And the grant funding, is that what you want to know about? The thousands and thousands of pounds that we've had for all the grant funding to build the extensions, and all done by my own fair hands, all designed by moi. Yeah, basically designed by me because we didn't have any money. Downstairs, our first grant was Gavo, which was £13,000 for electric. To have it built and rewired, that was our first grant. I remember being so excited when we had the money for that. That was really exciting because our electrics was naff and it used to go off all the time. I remember our first show when we put buckets around the stage. It was Christmas time, and we put buckets around, and we had just before the show started, and drip, 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 and it was, oh my God, the rain started coming down. So we had to put a bucket down for all kids to dance around, and the wiring went off, and all the electric went off in the middle of the, do you remember that? And all the music went off. But then I remember announcing to people that I had a Gavo grant for £13,000 to have the building rewired. I had to sack the electrician then as well halfway through because he'd done such a terrible job. And then we did have a grant then for all the rest of the work, and when grants started coming in, we had more grants to refurb it all.
How has the building changed in your time?
Well, when I first came here, the drama room wasn't really finished in the extension, but now it's all completed.
Well, I think I remember when I was coming in to Kidz R Us at the age of 3, I think they had just finished getting rid of the old chapel layout with, I think it was like lots of stairs going up the chapel so people would look down on it. But I think when I actually started properly, because I came like part-time because I was really small, they'd got rid of that, and there was the proper ballroom then, like all the mirrors and things were set out, and that I remember it being, there was in a room, we used to do drama. Well, I didn't because I was too young, but they used to do drama downstairs, and they used to shut it off with like a big shutter. And when I turned 5, we went down there and we used half of the room for parents who were staying for their children, and then the other half of the room to do drama. And I remember it was it wasn't finished, they needed a little bit of work done, but we did loads of dance classes and we did parties down there. But I can't remember, this extension that we are in now wasn't here then. I think it was like a few years after this extension was built on to the proper building.
The building have changed loads. I can remember when it all used to be brown, and I remember all the piers, and I remember this was in year, and I remember doing drama in the basement, and we always used to have to wipe off the dust after every drama lesson.
Well, I can remember when Kidz R Us used to be in the community centre in Georgetown, and then they moved then here to the chapel, and like I think it's just, I can remember when I was like little, and I joined when I was 3, so I've gone all the way through Kidz R Us since tots all the way up to the advanced class. And when we all came to the building, like, we was all excited because it was our own building that we could do like dance and drama and everything here.
The time came to meet with the former parishioners. They had a lot to tell us about how the building was used years ago, and even brought along some old photographs. We were surprised by some of the similarities between the building's uses as a church versus a performing arts centre, for instance, the choir and the youth clubs.
What memories do you have of Park Place Chapel?
Well, my memories are coming as a little girl to Sunday school, 6-year-old. Fabulous memories of Woodson walkouts, when it was always scorching hot. You wouldn't know what I'm talking about, but they were white buckskin sandals. And the tar would be sticking to you, you wouldn't dare get anything on your shoes. And you got a brand new dress for the Woodson walkouts, and then we'd have to sing the loudest. Park Place would have to be the best singers. And then we got up to and this is when there was hundreds and hundreds of people turning out in the town, going to the park then and all singing hymns, and then coming back here for a fabulous tea and games. And then of course we came to Youth Club and had fabulous fun times here. Can't remember who used to organise and look after us. I really can't remember the names of the people, but we'd had lovely times.
It wasn't charity shops then, it was
sales work
and
jump sales,
anything like that, you know.
And they used to wait till the end to have it all cheaper.
But it was just a friendship club.
Yeah.
It was just women who wanted to get together. We'd have speakers, we'd have outings, we'd have trips, we'd have all sorts, and it was fun. That's the
we used to visit other chapels, didn't we, Anne?
Yes. Oh, there's a story I've got to tell you from the other chapel. And we used to exchange with this group in Oakdale, and they really were a good group. They were full of fun and full of laughs and everything. So we went down there one particular time. So they said, right, we've got this game here to play now. They said, right. So they came out, and this is in the 1970s, when 50p was a lot of money. So they brought out this plate with a mountain of flour on it like this. And they put a 50p on the top and balanced it so it wouldn't slip down through the flour. So they said, right, if you can pick that up in your teeth, you can have it. Right, we were in for this, right, and we were all like this. And then we were covered in flour, but nobody could get the 50p, you know, so every time we went down, they started to pile it back up with the 50p on top, right? So we'd all had to go, and none of us could get it. She came through now, and she said, out the way, you're sure to do this. She went up to it, she took her teeth out like this, she scooped it up, right? And she had the 50p, and she tried to put her teeth back in her mouth, and she couldn't because it was covered in flour.